Good morning, agents, and welcome to another daily episode of Targeted Loot Today, your daily farming guide for Friday, February 12th. In this series, I cover a large scope of useful info. We got the Targeted Loot map, Dark Zone exclusives, highlights for the weekly vendor resets, and build and farming suggestions as well. This is Shadow Gaming, and if you're new to the channel or enjoy this video, consider pressing the thumbs up and subscribe buttons below, and if not, a thumbs down. And always remember to hit those bell notifications to all so you never miss a daily morning video, and comment below if you have any questions or feedback whatsoever. Otherwise, let's get this video started. Alright, agents, Dark Zones and of course vendor reset highlights, which is going to be the first step, and there's going to be a big bottom left overlay that pops up with all the vendor resets. I highly recommend the Orbit pistol with perfect finisher in the DZ South vendor, and the Carnage with perfect sadist in the DZ East. As far as Aralda Holdings goes in DZ West today, I normally don't recommend farming the Dark Zone unless it's a DZ exclusive because the loot quality could be a lot lower. But if you are going to farm for Aralda Holdings, it's for a headshot damage build most likely, so you're going to want weapon handling, weapon damage, and headshot damage rolled onto it, and get headshot damage above 200% for your build. Now over here in DZ South, we got holsters as targeted loot. Now there is a Dark Zone exclusive that is the Claws Out holster with 500% melee damage and 10% pistol damage, which is really good for shield build users. Otherwise, you could still farm for the 3 exotics. That's the Waveform holster, at which you get at Season 4 level 90, and then of course the Imperial Dynasty holster and the Dodge City. The Dodge City is great for pistol builds and headshot damage builds. Imperial Dynasty holster is great for Eclipse Protocol builds, like over here at Capitol Building that you could farm for today. And then of course the Waveform is great for my turret and drone build, which I'll go over on the west side of DC. And last but not least, we got DZ East. You got Seska's targeted loot today. So the Dark Zone exclusive here is going to be the Devil's Due backpack with perfect clutch on it. And that's going to restore armor and health, you know, depending on, I can't remember exactly what it is. It'll be in the bottom left overlay, but it restores based on crit hit damage, you know, your crits that you get. Otherwise, that's it for the Dark Zones. Let's go check out the invaded missions and Northside targeted loot now. Alright, agents, Northside targeted loot highlights. Starting off with the invaded missions this week, we got Bank Headquarters, and then of course Federal Emergency Bunker, Potomac Event Center, and then Manning National Zoo is the Stronghold, as well as Tidal Basin like always. Starting off on the north side, we got Negotiator's Dilemma at Camp White Oak. So I'll put my favorite double LMG build in the top title card right now. It's my favorite Negotiator's Dilemma build. And that of course is 4 pieces of Negotiator's Dilemma, the Coyote's Mask, and then Grupo Sombro gloves for AR, SMGs, or LMGs, or you could use the Contractor's gloves as well, and I always run the Pestilence or the Bullet King. Next up, we got Richter and Kaiser at Coney Island Ballpark. I don't really recommend this unless you're using a healer build, and the Gila Guard over here at the amusement park for shield build users, but Hunter's Fury over at Manning National Zoo, I definitely recommend. And of course, I always recommend my favorite Hunter's Fury build in the top title card and bottom left overlay now. That's going to be 4-piece Hunter's Fury, the Memento backpack, and then of course the Death Grips with 10% armor on kill. I always run that with the Dark Winter and the Scorpio, but if you don't have those, you can get a Vector, just a normal Vector with Killer or Close and Personal on it, or you could use the Apartment if you have that as well. And then I also have an alternative Hunter's Fury build that has a little bit more damage to it, so that's 4 pieces of Hunter's Fury, the Memento backpack, and then a Sokolov chest piece with Obliterate, which is my favorite, but you can also use Intimidate, and I still run the same weaponry, and I always use 3 armor cores and 4 weapon cores. And then of course Kenley College is open for another 3 days and 15 hours as of this recording, and the summit you pick your own targeted loot. So let's go check out what we got on the west and east sides of DC now, agents. Alright, agents, west side targeted loot highlights, starting off with the gear sets. So for Hardwired at Foggy Bottom, I recommend this build. So it's 4 pieces of Hardwired, and then of course you got the Vial Mask, and then a China Light chest piece with Glass Cannon or Unbreakable on it. And you're going to want to run the Jammer Pulse and the Firefly or Bulwark Shield, but you definitely want the Jammer Pulse on that for sure. And then the only other 2 we got is Strikers at Potomac Event Center. Like I always say, I only recommend 3 pieces for a Merciless build, or if you're running an LMG build with like Perfect Frenzy with the Sleipnir, I believe it's called. Otherwise, I don't recommend using any more than 3 pieces. And last gear set on the west side is of course Foundry Bulwark at DCD HQ. Remember, the chest and backpack are Iron Horse raid exclusive. You cannot farm for them outside of Iron Horse normal difficulty. But you could still make an incredible tank build. What I do, you could put the Emperor's Guard knee pads on with 1% armor regen, and then throw on 1 or 2 pieces of Bellstone Armory and stack everything into armor regen. Never use the health reroll. That is a dead stat. For normal targeted loot, I'm going to start off with gloves at DARPA Research Labs. This is a Black Tusk mission, so that's going to increase your rate of chance by 3% to get the BTSU data gloves, which is going to grant overcharge to you and any ally that's at skill tier 6. You can also farm for the Contractor's Gloves with 8% damage to armor, which is perfect for any LMG build, or if you're stacking damage to armor with the Lady Death, ARs, or 2-piece Walker Harrison Co. But I highly recommend farming Petrov and Downtown East today if you're looking for the Contractor's Gloves in specific. Next up, we got the Badger Tough at Lincoln Memorial. You can farm the 0F's chest piece with Perfect Unbreakable. Now that is amazing, it has a 55-second cooldown, but every time the enemy breaks your armor, it restores 100% of it, and you can buy one at the White House. I roll it with 170k armor as the core, and then crit hit chance and crit hit damage for a DPS hybrid build. But of course, if you're going to be using like that hardwired build, you're probably going to want skill damage and skill haste on it. Next up, we got knee pads at West Atomic Park. You got 2 exotics, Sawyers and Ninja Bike Messenger knee pads, and both of them are completely different. So with the Ninja Bike Messenger knee pads, it's for like a run and gun SMG build where you can vault or cover to cover to get 25% bonus armor, and then of course it instantly reloads your weapon. And then for Sawyer's knee pads, you just sit still, and every second you sit still, you get 1% weapon damage up to 30%, and the second you even flinch, it starts going down by 1% all the way to the bottom, and it'll reset after, it's done with that. And then we got Bellstone Armory at Tidal Basin. You can farm the Everyday Carrier with perfectly efficient named Bellstone Armory chest piece, but comment below if you guys use this. I have yet to get someone to comment below that says they use this chest piece. And always remember, the Liquid Engineer backpack with Perfect Bloodsucker is a Dark Zone exclusive backpack, so keep that in mind when farming. You can get it from named item caches just like any other Dark Zone exclusive, otherwise you're going to want to do the Dark Zone. Next up, Providence Defense at Constitutional Hall. So you can farm the Sacrifice with Perfect Glass Cannon that will amplify, meaning multiplicative damage, by 30% of all damage. That includes skill builds, and DPS builds, weapons, and skills. But it's also going to amplify all damage by 60% against you. You shred like paper, but you also shred them like paper. It's a huge risk, risky like set. I use Intimidate or Obliterate instead, but it's up to you guys. And then we got Empress over here at Roosevelt Island today. Especially if you can farm it on Legendary, you could try to find your best rolls possible. But my favorite turret drone build will be in the top title card right now. That is 3 pieces of Empress, 2 Hana Yu in the waveform. And then I put Kinetic Momentum on the chest piece, the Force Multiplier backpack with Perfect Combined Arms. I run the Capacitor, and the Harmony with Perfect Insync is my secondary. And the last couple we got is backpacks at the White House area. You could find the Memento with Kill Confirmed, and the Acosta's Go Bag with 1 in the hand. I highly recommend both of them, but really recommend the Memento for sure. I think every agent should have it. It really goes on any build, literally. You can do it for skill, tank, DPS, whatever, a hybrid of all of them. And the Acosta's Go Bag also grants overcharge among many other things, so it's great for skill builds like damage and healer as well. And then of course we got chest pieces at Downtown West, so you could farm the 2 exotics, the Tardigrade, which you could just straight up farm for, but the Ridgeway's Pride you're going to need to complete the project first, or like I always say, let your teammates know what you are farming for and vice versa, so that way you guys can help each other out. Like myself, if you run into someone like me who has the Ridgeway's Pride already that completed the project long ago, now it's part of my chest targeted loot, maybe they'll drop it for you if you ask nicely, or if, you just let them know you need it. And last but not least, shotguns at West End. So of course the 2 exotics is the Sandman Talon on the Sweet Dreams exotic shotgun, and the Septic Shock Talon on the Scorpio shotgun. Both of them are pretty good. I mean, the Sweet Dreams, melee 1-hit kill any red or purple barred enemy by melee hitting them, and that's every 15 seconds. The cooldown's pretty short. But the Scorpio, I think, completely overshadows it. I mean, 1 shot is poison, 3 shots is confusion, 5 shots is shock, shock, and 7 shots gives a 20% damage debuff to that enemy. And it can completely stun lock, and you can just spawn like an enemy, respawn closet with it, and just they'll never be able to get up to hurt you, especially with the Hunter's Fury build. And then of course the other 4 best shotguns in this game would be the Rock and Roll shotgun, which is a Dark Zone exclusive, and then the Mop with 10% armor on kill, which is a 612 shotgun, which is amazing, just like the Scorpio, and then the Custom M870 and the Marine Super 90 with close and personal rolled on them. And that is really all I recommend for the west side. These other ones, if you know what you're farming for, then you can definitely farm for them. Otherwise, let's go ahead and move on to the east side. Alright, agents, east side target loot highlights, starting off with the gear sets. I will let you know a little bit more about Tip of the Spear since I usually skip it. So this increases specialization weapon damage. It's very niche for like legendary missions or the raid. And you basically always want to run the survivalist specialization with it, with the crossbow, because it could just completely one-shot strip off the armor of an enemy, or like, a bigger boss or something like that. And then next up we got a Close Protocol, a Capitol Building Stronghold. I'll put my favorite fire damage build in the top right and bottom left. So that's going to be 4 pieces of a Close Protocol, the Imperial Dynasty holster, and 1 piece of Golan gear. What you're going to want to do is either run the Firewall specialization, which is what I do, or you can run the Technician, and then you could use that Golan gear and change it to Armor Core or Weapon Damage instead of a skill tier. And I use the Chem Launcher, Fire Starter, and the Stinger Hive. Next up, we got True Patriot at American History Museum. Now, True Patriot, amazing SMG build. I'll put in the top right and bottom left overlay as well, which I think a lot of people already know about by now. And that of course is 4 pieces of True Patriot, the Sokolov chest piece with Intimidate, and the Memento backpack. And you always want to run the Lady Death, and then of course the Mop with 10% armor on kill. But there is an alternative to this build where you could use the Chameleon. And that of course is just swapping out that Sokolov chest piece with Intimidate for a Fenris chest piece with Intimidate, which you could farm for today at Air and Space Museum. And then the last one we got is Aces and Eights at Judiciary Square. Great headshot gear set. You mix 3-piece Aces and Eights, and then of course 2 pieces of Heraldo Holding. One's going to be a backpack, which I choose Vigilance on it, or you could do Composure, and the Chain Killer chest piece. I always run that with the Mantis as my primary, and my secondary is Ekem's Longstick with Perfect Ranger, or you could use the White Death as well. For normal targeted loot, I already mentioned the Contractor's Gloves in the downtown east area, but Honey You at Grand Washington Hotel, you can farm the Force Multiplier backpack with Perfect Combined Arms, which is going to give you 30% skill damage, but only for a short 3 seconds. And keep in mind that you can also get the Force Multiplier at the Clan vendor, but it's not rolled with skill haste and skill damage the way it should be. And also, if you want to, I almost missed it, but on the west side you can farm the Percussive Maintenance with Perfect Tech Support. It's going to give you 30% skill damage for 30 seconds. It basically always stays active, so you can grab that if you want today. Otherwise, the Force Multiplier backpack is really good if you want to keep shooting. The Tech Support one is if you want to stay behind cover and just, just get those kills with your turret and drone build. And then next up we got rifles at Federal Triangle. The 2 exotics is the Merciless and the Diamondback. The Merciless kicks like a horse, so you're gonna need brace on your chest piece, weapon handling on 3 to 6 pieces of your gear, or 3-piece striker to calm it down. And then of course for the Diamondback, you're gonna want, you can use it if you want, but it just has 5 rounds. So if you want to go with it, it hits hard in PvE and PvP, and the Agonizing Bite can be sometimes kind of annoying, the way they have it set up, but either way it can hit really hard, especially in PvP as well. But what I really recommend would be the 2 named ones that you can get in the Light Zone, which is the Baker's Dozen with Perfect Lucky Shot and the Surge with Perfect Spike. And the Surge was on sale last week, but it is no longer on sale at the theater this week. And then we got some machine guns at Viewpoint Museum today. So you got 3 exotics, the Lady Death, which you could just straight up farm for, and you can get 42 rounds instead of 32 through that True Patriot build. The second one is the Chatterbox. Now that's a quest only at first, and I got a 5-minute quick video that if I have enough cards I'll put in the top card or pin comment below that takes really fast. It's actually easier than farming SMG targeted loot for it, and that one's actually really underrated and grows great on any SMG build because you just get these instant reloads and super fast rate of fire after you reload anyway. And then the last one's the backfire, but you're going to need about 94% hazard protection on your build mixed with bleed resistant mods and hazard protection rolled on your gear, or skip the reload animation but you lose the stacks. And always keep in mind the Dark Winter and the Apartment SMGs, the named ones, are of course Dark Zone exclusive, so you cannot farm for them SMG targeted loot in the Light Zone. The ones you can farm for in the Light Zone that I recommend is the Grudge with Perfect Vindictive and the Safety Distance with Perfect Outsider. Both of those are really good for their own respective builds. And the only last one I'm going to mention is Walker Harrison Co. at Jefferson Plaza. You know, the Matador backpack with Perfect Adrenaline Rush is a Dark Zone exclusive, but the Chainkiller chest piece with Perfect Headhunter is not a Dark Zone exclusive. So if you want to farm for that today, that's going to deal 150% of your last killing blow. So like on that Aces and Eights build with the Mantis, you can get over 20 million a headshot easy with that. And that is all I really recommend for the east side. Let's go check out now what we got in New York City, agents. Alright agents, here we are in New York City, targeted loot highlights finally, and of course starting off with the gear sets we only got one, so that's Future Initiative at Battery Park. The chest and backpack are Iron Horse Raid exclusive, just like Foundry Bulwark, and I have no clue when they're gonna actually release it to the general loot pool. So until then, if you can't get the raid, you know, I recommend joining my Discord and Shadow Crew clan on all platforms of course, but otherwise I would use, you know, an Alp Summit chest piece with Empathetic Resolve, and like a Murakami backpack or a Richter and Kaiser or something, or another Alp Summit with Safeguard on it, and that's a wonderful non-raid exclusive healer build. For normal targeted loot, I'm going to start off with Overlord at Wall Street. You can farm the Fox's Prayer knee pads with 8% damage to targets out of cover. That's multiplicative damage, especially paired with 10% on your weapon. That is the best type of damage. No matter if it's 10% rifle damage from the Overlord or not, if you're not running a rifle build or not, it's perfect on any DPS build, basically. And then of course we got Assault Rifles at Liberty Island. The Eagle Bearer is an exotic AR, but it's tied to the Dark Hours raid on normal difficulty. So otherwise, the other two exotics is the Chameleon with Adaptive Instincts and the Capacitor. Now the Capacitor, you're going to need to complete 5 summit challenges on any difficulty, and then you'll be able to unlock it into AR targeted loot. The Chameleon you could just straight up farm for. Otherwise, I recommend all these named ARs in the bottom left overlay. The Rail Splitter is a Dark Zone exclusive. The rest of them you can farm for. I recommend the Mechanical Animal, the new, test subject, and the new, And the only other thing I really recommend today, Douglas and Harding, you got Punch Drunk Mass with 20% headshot damage that you can farm for. It's perfect for an all high-end headshot damage build. And of course, you're going to be looking for like the Mantis or the Nemesis over here at Stranded Tanker today. It's, but you have to have unlocked the Nemesis first. Otherwise, I'd recommend the named ARs like Ekem's Longstick with Perfect Ranger or the White Death, and roll Boomerang Rifleman or Ranger on that. And last but not least, we of course got LMGs at Financial District. You can get the Bullet King and the Pestilence. Those are the two exotic LMGs in this game. The Bullet King, you never have to reload. It doesn't have infinite ammo, you just never have to reload. And then of course, it has lower base damage because of it. And the Pestilence, you can get the damage tick to over 1 million a tick, but that's based off weapon damage, not status effects. Otherwise, I recommend all the named LMGs in the bottom left overlay. I highly recommend the Good Times, like the Black Friday's a DZ exclusive, but it's really good, and the new Reliable, and the Carnage with Perfect Sadist. And that's really all I recommend for New York City. And China Light at Civic Center, if you guys are looking for that chest piece for that hardwired build. Wyvernware is great for the skill damage. You guys know what it is. So that's it for New York City. Well agents, that was it for your daily farming guide today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please consider pressing the subscribe and like buttons below, and if not, just go ahead and give it a thumbs down. And always remember to check the video description and pinned comment below for links to support my channel, the Shadow Gaming merchandise store, my Discord, my Shadow Crew clan on all platforms. Plus, I'm just launching my website, so I'll keep you guys updated on the community tab about that. It's about ready to publish any day now. And then of course, if you guys would be so kind to click the join button below if you want to become a member for exclusive perks, have me help you farm and give you build advice and all that stuff. And really just overall help me, with monetary stuff. Like that's how I got this new microphone and audio interface, and why the audio quality sounds so much better is because of members like, you guys. So thank you very much for that. Otherwise, stay tuned for more daily Division 2 content. This is Agent Shadow signing off. I will see you in the next video. Take care, agents, and have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you tomorrow.